format that need to be addressed. I've been playing regionals for the last 3 weekends in a row. We've just had YCS Charlotte, and these are my picks for the ban list. I expect it to come early May. I don't expect it to come before the structure decks are released this Thursday. We have 2 YCSs in one in Mexico and Colombia, so I fully expect ban list after those events have concluded, and we have all the data to go forward and put in a good ban list. Hopefully, there's a few things that should be addressed. I've made a little note here of cards. Not every card here is going to get hit on the ban list. I just want to discuss quite a few cards that I think could maybe come back, not come back, stay at 3, stay banned. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. I love doing theory videos. It's my favorite thing to talk about. And yeah, ban list time, ban list season, guys. We're almost there. The first card I want to talk about is Maxi. So I saw recently Maxi come back into the spotlight. So whether this card should come back to 1 or 3, I think if it comes back at all into TCG, it has to come back at 3. I don't think it will ever come back. Maybe one day, but not in this sort of era of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think they just want to push out more support products that give us more power creep. They don't want to go back to these old sort of staples. I think it would be interesting to see Maxi back at 3. It would do a lot for the game and the format, but I can't see it personally. Unless they could maybe push it in a big product and get a lot of sales through a product that way. Maybe, I don't know, like a Megatin or something, or a collector set. But other than that, I don't think Maxi will come back. So that is my take on that. Harp Horror. So I'm trying to think really, because even one Harp Horror does a lot. There's so many combos that you can just splash an Orcus combo in between it as a plan B, or as a card that can just give you an additional disruption through Dingus, through Galatea. I think one Harp Horror would be a lot in the format, especially with PK and stuff right now. Adventure Engine, ditching a Nightmare from your hand would get you Harp Horror access. I think it's not the time for this card to come back. It's a good card. It would make the game look really cool to see it back, but there's so many ways to get this in the grave these days. Yeah, it's too much. Next, staying banned is probably Colossus. I saw quite a good discussion on Twitter where Super Poly comes back in the format. Come post structure deck, maybe Colossus could come back as well. This Super Poly was a great way to counter the Colossus. I think with more Super Poly in the format, maybe Colossus doesn't directly impact the format as much, but I still think this card is really insane. It's so accessible, so splashable. I think the Dragon Link deck, I'd probably say the Dragon Link deck needs to get not a hit, but because it's been hit enough. But I think if that deck ever got flushed out of the game, maybe one Colossus could come back as a experiment. But until then, I think this card just does too much. Next is Verte. Actually, we'll go on to Verte in a second. I want to talk about banned cards and maybe what comes off the list. Masterpiece. So, yeah, I don't think Masterpiece can come back. I think this card's been spoken about quite recently in terms of like modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! And Droplet existing. All these ways to like stop Masterpiece, but I just think this card's like super accessible. If you get put this in the trap deck, I don't know. Like True Draco's a cool deck. I don't think one Masterpiece, if it makes the deck a lot better, but I don't know. It's a tough one. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about Masterpiece? Because I'm on the fence of it. I think it's a really broken card. But then True Draco isn't really doing much right now. I used to play True Draco quite a bit back in like Salmon Great format, and it was a really fun deck, but I don't think it can really compete at the moment. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. I'm still on the fence. I think if Masterpiece doesn't come back, I think Dynamite Fighter could cut to 3. I think they could put it to 2, then 3, like they do in the Circle. But I think this card can definitely come back. I think True Draco could probably get a buff. Diagram. I think Diagram can stay at 1. It does a lot of Dino as well. So if they ever push out Dino support, they could bring this card back to 2 or 3. But for now, I think these cards could probably stay as they are, and maybe Dynamite Fighter to 2. Astrograph, they could push card to 3. I think with the new Pendulum support, I'd like to see some sort of stuff come off the ban list for Pendulum. Give the deck some more consistency power cards. So I think Astrograph to 2 for now, and see how that goes, and then try 3. Same with Circle. I think Circle can come back to 3, easy peasy. Like, this card's, it's good, but I think Salamander needs it, especially with Desires to 1 as well. I think this card can come back to 3, absolutely fine. Multi-roll can come back to 3. I think that's a fair assumption to say so. Yeah, the card gives strikers inherent good and in-engine grind game, but it's so many cards to get rid of this. DPs in the format destroys this easy. Like, I don't think this card does too much in 2022 Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah. Right, I saw someone argue that if there's no hits to the Adventure Engine, can Imperial Order come back after 1 format? I did like Imperial Order in the game, and I'm only saying that because there's so many strong spell cards in the game. Yeah, it does shut off a whole functionality of some decks, but I think, come on, the Adventure Engine is so broken. Like, there has to be ways to stop it. Yeah, we've got anti-spell. Anti-spell can be you can get around an anti-spell easy, like Dracobite, if you not Dracobite, if you can bounce it during your opponent's turn, or you can chain Twin Twister. Like, same with this, I suppose, but you get punished for chaining, or just like blind shotgunning like a Twin Twister into Imperial Order. It's insane. But I was alright with this card at 1, to be fair. It could come back, but I don't see it happening. Scapegoat, this card can come back to 3. Back in the day, it was like an easy Link 4, but that's not really prevalent anymore. And plus, it's just like a non. If you have a deck with like loads of flex spots, then need a boss monster in the extra deck. Like Trickstar back in the day needed like a Borlow to compete with Thunder Dragon. I think, yeah, I'd come back to 3. I don't see an issue with this card being at 3. So Scythe and Dagda. See, obviously Scythe just needs to go. It does 100% need to go. It's been a problem for years, but I've got a stupid feeling they're gonna ban Dagda or something. I've just got a feeling they're gonna hit Dagda and leave Scythe for, because you can still play Artifact Sanctum and Scythe your opponent that way, which makes it it's still broken, but it's less like 1 card combos in the game, which is fine. I'm alright with that. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I think Scythe just does too much. There's so many decks right now, just 1 card combo, 4 cards in hand, Scythe your opponent, and just like, yeah. I think one of these needs to go. I think Scythe hopefully needs to go. Corbler Grave, so 3 or 0. This card is insane. It is so good. So many games I've played over the last few weeks where I've resolved a Cobbler Grave on like a hand trapped, or used it as disruption, set it during our opponent's turn, use it as disruption. This card's broken. It's so good. I wouldn't be surprised this card got banned. I wouldn't be surprised, because Crossout's a good card, only good in defined formats. If you want to push out Crossout and like push out a reprint for Crossout, they could ban Cobbler Grave, but yeah, I don't see this card come back to 2 or 3 for a good while. Next is Verte. I want to go. Actually, we'll stay in order. So, Mystic Mine. This card is crazy. This card's so good. There's so many ways to get around it these days, but I think we saw at the YCS a lot of people just disrespecting this card, not playing like that many back row outs like Cosmic Twin. And ultimately he's getting punished for it. We saw quite a few players. I was one of myself. I got destroyed by Mystic Mine on the weekend. I think going back to Birmingham as well, I got punished by Mystic Mine by not playing around it or deck building to out it. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those cards where if you get sacked by it and you have your opponent has more cards than you, or if you're down in life in time, it sucks to get dropped on you in that situation. But it is a cool card design, and it's not like this card can ever be stopped. There's loads of ways to stop this card. I do like the design. I think the design is very cool, but it does fundamentally just sack games out of nowhere. I think one mine limiting it would be fine. It's probably due a hit on the ban list, to be fair. Think of all the formats we've had with this card. It's been insane. Yeah, I think this card to 1 would be a fair hit. Next is Warranty Enchantress. I think this card to either 1 or 2. I think this engine needs to get addressed, like consistency wise, not like harshly addressed. I think Enchantress to 1 or 2 would be fine. You still play Foolish. Cherubini still sends it. Beatrice still sends it. Riser still sends it. There's so many ways to like send this card still, instead of punish like hard opening the cards. But I got a feeling they're gonna put it to 2, but I think 1 would be fine. And you're probably thinking, well, it's only been out for 3 months. How can you hit the main searcher? I think the correct hit would be right, hitting right of Armacia, but I don't think they'll do that because, yeah, like I said, the engine hasn't been out for that long. They could put this to 2 and then the next format put right to 2. I'd like to see some sort of address of this engine though. It is absolutely absurd. It does too much, way too much. Next is Dimension Shifter. I think this card is amazing. I love this card. Sucks to get it dropped on you when you're playing like graveyard sort of strategy. But I think the design of this card is really cool. It's quite fun to play. Like, arguably, like it's quite a cool, fun card. Makes the game interesting. You know, these lower power Flunderies decks are in a format where you have Adventurer, Souls, DPE, all these insanely broken engines. Like drop shifter. do you know what I mean? It's quite cool. I like it. I think the card's quite cool. I don't think it'll get hit on the ban list. The restriction for it is really insane. Have no cards in the graveyard. Yeah, Flunder abuses that, like having no cards in the graveyard a lot of the time. But yeah, I don't think this card will get hit. Maybe it could be abusable in the future, but I don't think it's abusable right now. It's just a good neutral hand trap to counter all these broken engines and make Flunder compete. So Verte Anaconda. So I think this card should go. Personally, I think this card is stupidly good. People are playing more than 1 in their extra deck now. They've clocked on. If it gets hit with like an Imperm, you just make another one, right, and just go again. But yeah, I had two effect monsters, splash them together, make a Verte, DP. Yeah, it does too much. They could keep it live for another format with the branded fusion stuff, but still, yeah, this card has to go. It's too much. This card's too much. Next is Meow Mew. I think the card should be banned. 100% be banned. The fact Prankins has a 1-card combo. Prankins is a very annoying deck. I played it a lot recently. I just got a top of the regional with it. It's so stupid. Like the deck, it's so linear. It's boring. It's stupid. Flush it out the game and get some new decks in it. This deck's been around for ages as well. I think rightly so. Meow Mew should get banned. It takes away the 1-card engine, and that's what you want. It's not fair to play a 1-card. Literally, the advantage you get off 1-card combo in this deck is ridiculous. A Butler with 2 Regekis quick effects, hand traps in hand still with the right of Armacia. That is like, it's so free to win in the deck. The deck is just so free to win with. I'm a massive advocate for banning this card, 100%. Right, Striker Dragon. Should Striker Dragon go? Same sort of concept with Meow Mew, but Dragon Link needs multiple cards to combo properly. So I think 1's fine for now. But if they want to ever push out Dragon Link, I think banning Striker Dragon's the way to go. I don't think the deck's doing too much to ban Striker Dragon, but if they wanted to go that route and take a refresh of the game, Striker Dragon would be the hit. Okay, next is Hulk and Auroradon. I don't think Hulk will get banned. I think it gives a lot of decks lines of play where they can compete in the current game. So I don't think Hulk's the way to ban. I mean, in theory, Hulk should be the one to ban, right? It's crazy, but I don't think they'll do it. It gives a lot of decks that don't play Adventurer and the DP Souls, just another line of play that they really need. Plus, like, Synchro Summoning is good, but it's not going to be the way to extra deck summon going forward next few months. Fusion Summon is going to be the way to play the game. So having Hulk in the format does encourage synchro plays, which you need. I think this card needs to go though. Like, come on, 3 tokens, level 3 tokens. Yeah, it's too much. You don't ban Despot, obviously, but I think this card needs to go. But a lot of the combos I see with Despot, it doesn't actually do it like a lot. I play this card as a Soul Soul, right? All you do is just make a Yazi and go into more Soul Soul plays and probably end on Auroradon with the Arclight, a Shishao, maybe a level 10 Synchro and a Blackout. I think that's a solid end board. But it doesn't do a crazy amount. It doesn't put up like 8 negates. I was timed out. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I timed out there, but that was pretty much the end of the discussion. If you guys want to see some more sort of content, let me know what you guys think as well. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.